So, Cancer, your week commencing the 3rd of February forecast begins with Mars in your sign since the 6th of January, but in its retrograde, forging a terrific angle with Saturn. Mars in our own sign is about being bold and dynamic. And of course, the retrograde means that if we try to push the pace too hard, that can cause some issues. But the link with Saturn suggests that your drive, linked with a clear plan, could actually work out very constructively. But since Saturn moved into Pisces 2 years ago, it has been a little bit of a quelling of some of the energy that Neptune introduced when it moved to the sign, which it too rules, on 2000 or in 2012. And that really was pushing you towards a more spiritual dimension. And right at the start of this week, Venus, Neptune, and the North Node are really bringing that part of you back to life that Saturn may have somewhat quelled. And it's ironic that Saturn is in such a constructive link to Mars in your sign. So, if there's something that you want to make happen, Mars, you've got the plan Saturn, but you're also tuning into your reasons for doing it in a way which is enlightening, perhaps inspirational. That's that collective, and that could push you towards something that is very exciting. It may be to do with a travel plan, to be honest. If there is somewhere that has long been on your bucket list, you may want to make something happen at the start of this week. But Jupiter, the planet of hope and optimism, has been trawling backwards since last October in a very tender part of your chart. And because it was also connecting to Saturn in that expansive part of your chart, we don't really think about expansiveness and Saturn. It may be that your sensitivities have in some ways choked off some enthusiasm for life, particularly on Christmas Eve, when the two were squaring, the first 2 weeks of January when they were within 3 degrees. So Jupiter going direct and that collective in Pisces is all green flags for you to move forwards as this week begins. Also on Tuesday, Venus, also like Jupiter, a planet which brings benefits, moves right to the top of your chart. In a romantic context, if there is a tie which you really feel committed to and the other person is sharing that, the connection this week between Venus and Pluto, which reaches a climax on Friday, can really lock in that commitment in a very, very lovely way. And it could see you considering the next step. And if you don't live together, for example, that may be something that you'd be thinking about, perhaps all the way to some kind of formal service to celebrate the relationship. But Venus moving to the top of your chart can also be very useful in terms of your professional world. Charm will get you everywhere. And it's not about being cynical about it. If you're someone who's naturally good with people, that will just glow up over the next 4 weeks for sure. But also Jupiter, ending its retrograde, does forge a significant link with, first of all, Mercury and more broadly the Sun. And they're in the part of your chart to do with deep commitments along with Pluto. And that link is great if there's been something you've been researching or working behind the scenes on for some while. Taking soundings, it can start to gather momentum, which is exciting. Now, the quarter moon at the heart of this week is a little bit complex. If there is a friendship that you've got or a romantic involvement that feels a bit clingy, that someone's rather possessive, even all the way to being a bit controlling, you could resist that, to be honest, on Wednesday. But then by the end of this week, if you are needing to make some shrewd moves around financial resources, the connection between the Sun and Mercury, the cazimi, can really give you crystal clear clarity to get something over the finishing line. You know, whether it is to do with an investment, whether it is to do with raising finance for a business or a property, or you're wanting to marshal your resources in a more effective way to squeeze a bit more out of your assets, I think you'll be right at it as this week draws to a close. Have a great week. If you've yet to watch your deep dive February forecast, please see the link below. And remember, you can get your half price personal 12-month forecast, but also life roadmap reports, the combination of them, totally unique to you, fired to your email. Please see the link below for more.